Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the rest of the week that was in pro wrestling. That includes WWE SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and the first time in a long time, AEW Collision, along with the results for TNA's Slammiversary pay-per-view. Going to be a very interesting recap. I hope you stay tuned and enjoy. So we start off first with TNA's Slammiversary results. First week result we got, winner of a fatal 4-way on the pre-show, Tasha Steelz beats former AAA Reina de Reinas champion Fabi Apache, Giselle Shaw, and Xia Brookside. Kushida beat Rich Swann by submission in a one-on-one contest. Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich retain their Knockouts tag team titles against Spitfire, that's Danny Luna and Jody Threat. And then a kind of special out of nowhere match as Eric Young defeats the returning from injury Alexander Hammerstone. Definitely going to be interesting to see where all this goes. Now we move on to the main card as Broken Matt Hardy defeated JDC, aka Fandango. The ABC, that's Ace Austin and Chris Bay, regain their TNA World Tag Team titles, beating Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards of the System. Mike Santana defeats Jake Something in a one-on-one contest. The Rascals, that's Trey Miguel, Zachary Wentz, and Lost member Wes Lee, who has been in NXT, defeat the No Quarter Catch Crew, also from NXT, of Charlie Dempsey, Miles Bourne, and Tavion Heights. I hope I said that correctly. In a Montreal street fight, PCO beats AJ Francis for both the TNA Digital Media title and the Canadian International Heavyweight title, which is, I think it's a title from an older promotion that's no longer with us. Helping AJ Francis during this match is Rich Swann, Smoke DZA, not even going to try to pronounce that name, and MLW, former MLW guy, Joshua Bishop, which, interesting to see him here. Jordan Grace successfully defends her TNA Knockouts title against Ash by Elegance. Speedball Mike Bailey defeats Mustafa Ali for the X Division title. And finally, in a 6-way elimination match, Nick Nemeth beats Moose, Josh Alexander, Steve Macklin, Frank Kazarian, and Joe Hendry for the TNA World Heavyweight title. Definitely an interesting show to see. I'm going to recommend it. Interesting, not a ton of surprises, too. So, gonna move on. I hope you enjoyed the results for that show, as we're moving into WWE SmackDown, and we see a recap of last week's main event where the Bloodline took out Randy Orton. Then we cut to a Cody Rhodes promo. He's in the ring. Says he wants to talk about Randy. It has been a privilege to call him a friend, and he would not be here if not for Randy Orton. And imagine my guilt watching this version of the Bloodline put Randy through a table. Randy is my family, my brother, and wouldn't it wax poetic to take on the man responsible for this attack, Solo Sikoa. Last year, during WrestleMania, I looked Solo in the eye and said, "You are not ready for this." That WrestleMania, he cost me my title shot, and with everything you've done, you've become chief, but you didn't finish the job as I'm still standing. And I'm still not. But before he can continue, A-Town Down Under interrupt, in which, okay, with Grayson Waller taking the lead, saying, "You spend all this time talking about the bloodline. Well, Jacob Fatu attacked me last week as well, and it's all because of you and your partner. And it's because of you, Randy got hurt." They're in the ring staring each other down. Cody then starts a beatdown on A-Town Down Under, but the numbers are too great. Then a celebrity guest, I forget who it is, it's some boxer from the area, gives Cody Rhodes a chair, slides into the ring, chair shots for A-Town Down Under, and then a disaster kick into a chair to end this segment. We're going to see that a little later. We then cut to backstage with Carmelo Hayes. He's getting his hair cut, getting ready for his match. Then he turns to the camera, says, "Andrade, tonight it's you versus me. The world is watching. We're going to see who's going to miss first, and it's not going to be me." So that's definitely a little bit interesting. Nice hype up for this coming matchup. We then see Cody Rhodes. He's backstage. He's wandering around for something, and he runs into GM Nick Aldis. Turns to Nick, says, "I want this match with A-Town Down Under. I don't care if it's a 2-on-1. Aldis then says, "Look, as much as I want to see you solo these guys, you're going to need a partner. With SummerSlam so close, I don't want you getting beat down." Then Cody's like, "I don't need a partner. Let me have them." Then as Nick Aldis is walking away, turns back, says, "Find yourself a partner." So, this little mystery goes on until the main event, in which we'll definitely see. And finally, we get to our first matchup of the evening as Andrade takes on Carmelo Hayes. And I am so happy that WWE let these two guys cook, because they cooked up pretty close to a masterpiece with counters from every which way, and just, it felt kind of strong style-ish. Not exactly, but it definitely felt like they were gonna actually beating the crap out of each other. And Andrade wins with the message. I don't know. I don't think that was the right call for me personally. I would like to see Hayes pick up a win like this, but maybe this isn't the last time we see these two guys in a ring together. Then we get a recap of last week's match between Nia Jax and Mia Yim. Then we see a Bayley Nia Jax sit-down interview in which they're in, different parts of the arena, being asked questions by some unseen third party. Nia Jax pretty much starts it saying, "Oh, not listening to you. Stop, then look at me, Bayley. I'm gonna beat her for the title, and I'm gonna put her out of her misery." Bayley retorts, "Obviously things haven't changed with you, Nia." Nia Jax then kind of puts her hand up, stops her, says, "Call me Queen Nia." Bayley retorts, "You know what I meant. You have the same big mouth, and you walk around like you own the place. And last 2019, you took me out of my match for SummerSlam. You didn't hurt me because that's what you intended. You hurt me because you're big, clumsy, and reckless. Wow. Nia Jax retorts, I am the queen of this division. I'm gonna take the title off of you. Don't listen to these people. I want you to look at me. This is Bayley retorting, I've changed too, and I'm walking out with the title, and that's not a damn thing you can do about it. Then Nia just kind of stands up, starts taking off the microphone apparatus. This was definitely a really good promo. Gonna be interesting to see where this goes. Will they actually crown Nia Jax at SummerSlam? So then we see Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. They're walking in the back, they're talking, and they then run into Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who says, look, we obviously got our title shot ready to go. We talked to Nick Aldis. It's time for you guys to get out of the way. And Jade Cargill chimes up. She says, you know what? She's right. You guys have gotten on my last nerves. So why don't you get in the ring tonight and handle this? So, not exactly the most interesting setup to a match, but at least it's something. So then we get Bianca Belair taking on Chelsea Green. And almost immediately, Green tries for an unpretty her, but that gets blocked. Bianca with a suplex, misses on the moonsault. Chelsea Green goes for a super kick, that gets caught. Bianca then has Green up for the KOD, but that gets countered into a roll-up for only a 2 count. Then Bianca with a roll-up of her own for the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Niven, Green, Jade, and Belair have a little stare down. Green and Niven then bail out of the ring. Then on the big screen comes Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, aka the Women's Tag Team Champions. And they say, pretty much, we've seen how you want our titles. Next week, you get a tiny little glimpse of them. And as for your rematch, we shall see. And that's how that segment ends. Match was a little uninspired, but I understand, the need to get Green over, but I do wish it went a little tiny bit longer. Next up, we got the contract signing between LA Knight and Logan Paul for the US title at SummerSlam. Both guys come out to pretty much opposite pops. So Aldis announces, I've signed it, LA Knight signed it, it's time for you to sign it, Logan Paul. Looks like Logan is looking over the contract. He's about to put pen to paper. He then tosses it aside, grabs a microphone, and says, what's Knight doing with a shot at my title? LA Knight retorts, hey, Edgelord, over here. It's clear you have no reason to face me, but I think we reconsider. I've owned and cooked you ever since you got here. And you won the US title. Congratulations. You'll hold that. You're the man. Well, now it's time for my shot. And you tell me no. Well, then I took matters into my own hands. And then I pinned you in the Money in the Bank qualifying match. So why don't you give me what I want? And then Logan Paul gets the microphone back, says, listen to yourself, Shawn. Which, honestly, I thought was a Shawn Michaels reference. Apparently, Shawn is LA Knight's real name, which, that cuts a little deeper. Logan Paul then continues, the fact that you need this, I don't need this match. We're not the same. Your existence is here in the ring, which is nothing to scoff at. But my life is not in this ring. And look, you're very good. My real problem is you don't think like me. You've never had a single defining moment in the ring. And you're just a cut and paste of The Rock. LA Knight retorts, oh, I've clearly never heard that one before. If we're talking flaws, let's talk flaws. You're parading around pretending to be U.S. champion. Your brother's willing to take on Mike Tyson in a fight. But you're not willing to take me on. Logan Paul then gets back on the mic, says, you want this match? I'll sign it. Logan then signs it. He then continues, but it's very clear you have nothing of value to give up. Logan Paul then throws the contract at LA Knight. They start pushing each other a little bit. Then Nick Aldis gets in the way, leading Logan Paul to the outside. Logan Paul is about to head up the ramp. Turns back, gets back in the ring, and cheap shots LA Knight. And then Logan Paul is looking for the KO punch. Misses. Knight goes for the BFT. Logan Paul gets out of it and goes to the outside to end the segment. I am looking forward to that big pop when LA Knight wins the United States title. It's going to be interesting. We then get a vignette of Tiffany Stratton, Miss Money in the Bank. We'll get to her in a second. So just wait. We then see LA Knight. He's looking a little distraught backstage. He then runs into Santos Escobar, who says, congratulations on getting your title shot. You must be on top of the world. But if you remember clearly, I was also in that match, and I wasn't pinned. With SummerSlam a few weeks away, you obviously got some free time. LA Knight retorts, it's obviously not the best idea in the world, so why should I be so eager to squander this opportunity? Santos then kind of fakes out an attack and just leaves. So, definitely going to be an interesting situation. Will the title shot be on the line next week? That match definitely needs some stakes to it. And speaking of a match with zero stakes, we got Tiffany Stratton taking on Michin Mia Yim. And this match started out pretty darn good, including a Mia Yim countering an Alabama slam. Goes for the eat defeat. That gets blocked. Gets hit with a nasty looking hip attack. Then as Mia Yim is trying to fight back, she gets tripped up by Nia Jax, who's on the outside. Tiffany Stratton with a beautiful rolling senton into... She's about to hit the world's prettiest moonsault. Out comes Bayley, who attacks Nia Jax. Then Bayley goes for the Money in the Bank briefcase and just starts breaking it, slamming it on the ground into the ring post. And you can see it's just all open. The hinges are undone. And also, interestingly, there's no contract in there. Anyway, so this distracts Tiffany Stratton enough that Medium comes in, hits a roll-up to pick up the win. Obviously, the match itself wasn't great, but the actions within the match do kind of make sense. If that even makes sense. With Bayley trying to secure her spot on top, and potentially take Money in the Bank out of the equation. That was actually really smart by Bayley. However, all this is going to be is Tiffany Stratton coming back with a pink Money in the Bank, which it should have been already. I'm sorry, that should have been pink already. Anyway, we then cut to backstage with the Bloodline being led by Solo Sikoa, who says, "Tonight, life is good as the Chief. While I never had a moment to myself, I don't miss it. Tonight, I don't care who Cody's partner is, who steps up. You've seen what we did to Orton with Cody. If you're against me tonight, it better be a handicap match. And stay out of this business." So, Solo trying to impose his will a little bit, but then we immediately see Cody Rhodes backstage. He's walking to Gorilla. Who does he run into? The prize fighter, Kevin Owens, coming back after spending some time with his family. And we start with our main event, as it's A-Town Down Under. That's Austin Theory and Grayson Waller taking on the team of Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. And I'm going to say this was a really, really good main event. Really good back and forth between, honestly, all four of these talents. They have some great chemistry in the ring. With Cody Rhodes picking up the win after a Cody Cutter Stunner Crossroads combination win for his team. And as Cody and Kevin Owens are celebrating, out comes the Bloodline. Kevin Owens gets a head start, dives into the Bloodline, and then Tanga Loa and Kevin Owens start brawling. Pretty much everyone starts brawling, except someone's missing. So Owens and Cody Rhodes set up for a triple power bomb through the announce table. It's stopped by guess who? Jacob Fatu, who just starts rolling over people. Then we see Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga holding Cody Rhodes in the ring, while Jacob Fatu brutalizes Kevin Owens on the outside. Then Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, and Jacob Fatu hit a triple powerbomb on Cody through the announce table. Set up Kevin Owens in the hardcore necktie. That's a chair around the neck, and throws him in the ring post to end the show. So, I'm just gonna say this. This was kind of a middle of the road episode of SmackDown. The only kind of interesting thing was the mystery Cody Rhodes partner, and then the Bloodline angle. Although that was kind of off too, because it was kind of cut and paste from last week. If you're going to do like multiple attack angles, I think you got to mix it up a little bit. Maybe do one backstage somewhere. Maybe do in the car park. Something like that. Something to spice things up a little bit. Otherwise, it was a pretty good angle to end the show. So that was WWE SmackDown. We then go into AEW Rampage, baby. As we start off with the Undisputed Kingdom. That's Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Roderick Strong taking on Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Tomohiro Ishii of the conglomeration. Yeah, this definitely has union vibes coming from the conglomeration, but it works somehow. And yeah, this was kind of a stunt show almost. Which, not saying that's a bad thing, it's just something I noticed. Pretty much brawling everywhere. really good back and forth, especially between Ishii and Roderick Strong, in which we'll talk about another match a little later. Near the end of the match comes with an orange punch and a win for the Conglomeration. This brings out Don Callis. Cassidy then has a little stare down. It looks like he's about to beat Don Callis down. Then out comes Kyle Fletcher to attack Cassidy from behind. And then Mark Briscoe, out of everybody, makes the save for his team. So, Conglomeration gets stronger. It's definitely going to be interesting to see where they go with this group, because it's interesting. We then go backstage with a Saraya Harley Cameron interview. Where pretty much Saraya says, look, last time we were at Wembley, I won the title, and now I'm off the card. I don't care who I have to step on to get to Wembley. So, are we going to see Saraya versus Toni Storm at Wembley? I don't know. I kind of hope not. Anyway, then we get this kind of extended squash match between the Outrunners, who are one of my favorite indie teams right now. If you haven't seen them, go watch them. They're entertaining as heck. Taking on Big Bill and Chris Jericho of the Learning Tree. Of course, Big Bill does most of the heavy lifting. Outrunners do fight back a little bit, but eventually Big Bill with some splashes, a big boot, a choke slam, tags in Jericho, who gets the pinfall for the win. And then as Jericho is celebrating on the ramp with the FTW title, out comes his opponent for Wednesday, Minoru Suzuki. And I just need someone to confirm, does Suzuki have new music? Because it kind of sounds like he has new music. So then that leads us into this next match, as it's Minoru Suzuki versus The Butcher. And I'm going to say this, The Butcher definitely was game for this match. Like, this was a real kind of a meat division match, even though Minoru Suzuki ain't exactly that big. A lot of really good back and forth, including The Butcher powering out of a sleeper hold. Eventually, Suzuki hits a pile driver to pick up the victory. We then go to a Conglomeration promo, formally introducing Ishii into the group. And then Mark Briscoe takes the lead, pretty much says, you know us, we got two rules, down to conglomerate and no shitheads. And then out there, we had a misconglomeration, and that pissed me off. Roddy at Death Before Dishonor, we got business. But on Collision, I got something special for you. It's going to be Strong versus Ishii. Little rematch from Death Before Dishonor not long ago. So that should be a fun one. Then we got Chris Statlander versus Sonny Winnell in pretty much a squash match. Although Sonny did get some stuff in. But after a Saturday Night Fever, which is a great name for a finish, Statlander gets the win. We then get a hype video for Collision for Hologram, the newest luchador to join the promotion. And speaking of luchadors, oh boy, this one was nuts. As we got Rey Fenix and Penta El Zero Miedo taking on Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn of Private Party. And this was pretty much this wrestling match in fast forward. Not saying that's a bad thing, This was a ton of fun. Lots of really good back and forth, and lots of really good teaming, including Private Party hitting the gin, going to hit the gin and juice, only for it to be blocked. Penta hitting a couple of sling blades, going for the Fear Factor stomp, for that to get blocked, with eventually Private Party hitting the gin and juice, only for a 2 count, which was broken up by Penta via the Destroyer, which is insane to think about. Eventually everyone gets back up, they go back and forth. Penta and Phoenix with the Super Kick Party, Fear Factor Stomp, Rey Fenix with the dive to the outside to keep Cassidy away, Penta with the pinfall for the 1, 2, 3, and your winners, the Lucha Brothers. Definitely an entertaining little matchup. I hope they do something soon with the Lucha Brothers, because they are kind of meandering a little bit, which is a shame, because they're both really good. Although apparently Penta's maybe WWE bound. I guess we'll see. But yeah, definitely a great showing for all around. Rampage was definitely interesting this week. I do feel like AEW are at least trying to up the importance of Rampage, which is always good. And while it's not exactly must watch, it's definitely getting better. We then go to AEW Collision, which took place from the I want to say it was like a gaming arena, which is interesting. So definitely a smaller crowd, but the setup was actually phenomenal. Like nice big stage, long Tron video board, which is always cool. And the atmosphere was really good all night. We start off the show with Darby Allin taking on the Beast Mortis, aka Black Taurus. Apparently, Mortis can't use the Taurus name outside of AAA anymore, so they went with this. This match was pretty much the ultimate David versus Goliath matchup, with Mortis kind of picking the pieces of Darby Allin. Darby Allin definitely fighting back for all he's worth. It does look like Mortis is about to get the win. Tries for the superplex. That gets blocked. Darby with a crucifix pin from the middle rope to only get a 2. Hits Mortis with the coffin drop to pick up the win. That was definitely a great match back for Darby Allin. I'm so happy he's back. And then we cut to the ring. We're getting a Darby Allin promo saying, you know, everyone in their right mind's telling me to slow down. I'm 30 right now. I'm feeling great. I don't take nights off. I'm all ready for blood and guts. And I'm obviously a veteran of blood and guts, especially with what the Young Bucks did to me at Sting's last match. Because, hey, now it looks like Harry Potter's lightning bolt scar. And it actually really does. Now I would want to talk about the EVPs. It sucks about them. They're never ever on Collision. Well, Collision's my baby now. And while it wouldn't be here without the Bucks, they suck now. And Jack Perry, that TNT title means the world to me. With All In around the corner, if you have the balls, let's play. Darby Allin versus Jack Perry. Heck yes. Let's get that started. Then we cut to backstage with the Acclaimed promo. They start kind of rapping about the show. Then Billy Gunn's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Cut it out. There's no time for this. Blood and Guts is next week. The Elite are about to stomp on you. Blood and Guts shouldn't be about this. It should be about being the best. So it's time to nut up or shut up. And then Caster's like, Elite, we're coming for you. So I'm more than happy Billy Gunn took that initiative and was the mentor that the Acclaimed needed to focus up and get ready for this brutal matchup that's coming. We then get this unfortunate matchup as Hikaru Shida takes on Sky Blue. Start off really, really well. Shida dropkicks Sky Blue from the apron. Then she hits a really awkward look. Well, it wasn't even that awkward looking, but it definitely looked like something went wrong because the ref calls for the doctor, calls for assistance. We do see some picture-in-picture. Shida is walking up the ramp when we come back, and she is called the winner due to referee stoppage. So, I think that means Sky Blue suffered a bit of an injury. I hope it's not super serious that she'll be out for too long. And I send her nothing but the best. Speedy recovery, Miss Blue. Gonna miss ya. We then cut to something kind of old school AEW, which I loved. You have Lance Archer just in the backstage area, beating people up. I was half waiting for someone to hit the ceiling of the backstage area. He then turns to the camera, says, a lot of people have forgotten what I can do, but it's time to remind you all who Lance Archer is. So, definitely going to be interesting to see what Lance Archer is all about. And it's time to push this guy. Lance Archer is so underrated, it's not even funny. We then get a promo from Chris Jericho. He's backstage saying, Suzuki, I've waited a long time for this match. It's a dream match for sure, but get ready for some night sweats because this dream is about to turn into your nightmare. And it's going to be far more violent than Blood and Guts ever will be. And if there's anyone I would have loved to see challenge me to a match, it's you. I'm going to teach you some hard lessons this week. This is it. I cannot wait. And you're not going to like it. So, definitely some fighting words from Jericho. Going to be interesting to see what they bring to the table. We then get a kind of anti-fat person promo from Tony Nese, saying there's no one in the back can match me. Out comes Rey Fenix for this little matchup. And I'm going to say I've underestimated Tony Nese for so long. He and Rey Fenix had a heck of a bout. Definitely more or less power versus speed. Then you had the rest of the varsity athletes trying to interfere. Definitely really good back and forth with eventually Rey Fenix winning with the frog splash. Definitely a solid matchup. Yeah, we'll see where this goes. We then go to an FTR in-ring interview saying, Tommy Billington, you got a great future, kid. A few years ago, we had the run of our lives. But we've been going through some stuff personally. But we're here every night. This was our escape. It helped me get through these tough times. We wrestled like it was our last match. And for now, we only got one target, and that's the Young Bucks. We've had some great title reigns, great matches with the Briscoes, and we beat the Young Bucks at Wembley Stadium last year. While 2024 wasn't great, we've watched the Young Bucks leapfrog FTR as the greatest tag team. We were hoping to see them take the tag division to new heights, and we were let down. So starting next week, FTR is on the road to gold, and it ends at All In. And give us some love. We'll give it to you right back in spades. Bucks, this one's for you. So, FTR versus the Young Bucks again for Wembley. I feel like there's some different matches we can have here that would feel big enough for this show. Maybe we'll have a triple threat with the Acclaimed or something. I don't know. Then we go to a Hikaru Shida backstage interview. Before Renee Paquette can really get going, she says, I've come here to fight. I didn't break a sweat. So I want to fight Dr. Britt Baker. Welcome back. You think you can just get a title shot because you're here? Get in line. I'm ready for blood and guts. So we're getting Shida versus Baker for blood and guts. Yeah, let's do it. We then get the match set up on Friday on Rampage as Roderick Strong takes on Tomohiro Ishii. And honestly, this was a damn good match. Like, if you just want pure wrestling in your wrestling, this is definitely the one to watch. Really good back and forth. And while Strong was out there alone initially, the Kingdom come out, distract the referee. Strong with a low blow, then a running knee strike to pick up the win. Definitely a big old upset for Roderick Strong. Definitely a signature win I think he needed. We'll see if he can carry that momentum for Death Before Dishonor. Kingdom beatdown on Ishii continues after the match. Mark Briscoe comes out, tries to make the save, but then Kyle O'Reilly cuts him off and beats Mark Briscoe down. So we'll see what happens with that. Don't know what the conglomeration do at All In, but I guess we'll see. And then this next match. Oh boy, this next match was a lot of fun. Some really good lucha things as Hologram, making his AEW debut, aka former AAA star Aramis, takes on Gringo Loco. And yeah, this was a fun, fast-paced matchup that got all the great lucha hits in. Gringo Loco with an impressive military press slam into a moonsault. Goes for the senton, absolutely whiffs. Hologram with a big arm drag out of the corner. Arana from the apron to the outside. They get back in. Gets him up for an airplane spin powerbomb to pick up the victory. While I would have liked to see this match go a teeny tiny bit longer, I think this is exactly what they needed. Definitely a fun Lucha Libre style matchup. Gonna be interesting to see where Hologram goes from here. We then cut to backstage as it's Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erich boys. That's Ross, Marshall, and Kerry. With Kerry pretty much saying, tonight's a great night. I learned so much from your dad, Dusty. In which apparently Kerry and Dusty was a tag team? That's wild. Kerry continues, business is different today. I feel like you guys would really benefit from your advice. Dusty then takes over, saying, the storm has arrived, the Von Erichs and the Roses together again. We're gonna lead each other down this path together, and just know I got your back. So Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs teaming together? That sounds like a fun trio. I can't wait to see what they do first. Then we see Mark Briscoe kind of cutting a promo, talking about Death Before Dishonor, saying pro wrestling runs parallel with life. I'm repping the Team AEW, bringing the Fight Wednesday. Elite, let's get violent. Definitely going to be interesting to see what happens with this Team AEW versus the Elite on Wednesday. And are we going to see any big surprises? I'm definitely ready for it. Then our next match, our semi-main event, and it's a lumberjack match as Thunder Rosa takes on Deonna Purrazzo. And honestly, this match was really good too. Lots of really good back and forth. You know, the competitors throwing each other to the outside to the lumberjacks. While the faces left Rosa alone, the heels definitely had some swipes at her. Lumberjacks only really getting Purrazzo back in. Eventually, lumberjacks just start brawling with one another. And then through all the chaos, Taya Valkyrie, who is also a lumberjack, gives Purrazzo an extra, turnbuckle hook, if you've ever seen one of those. It's like a curvy part, then there's a gap, then there's another curvy part. Purrazzo then uses the turnbuckle to attack Thunder Rosa while the ref was dealing with the lumberjacks for Deonna Purrazzo to pick up the win. Definitely a bit of a cheap win, but I like that for Deonna Purrazzo and her making an ally with her former knockout champion. So, we'll see if these alliances come together a little bit more. I guess we'll see. And then, Fine a Mo, we got our main event of the evening, and it's for the AEW Trios titles. Now, before we get into this, the previous champions, which were the Bang Bang Gang, although it was the Guns and Jay White, so Jay White's out hurt, Juice Robinson came back, and honestly, I thought they could have just Freebird ruled this title. But apparently that wasn't enough for Christopher Daniels, so he stripped them. Even though we've seen stuff like that happen. We saw MJF recruit Samoa Joe to defend the ROH tag titles. Anyway, either way, we got our main event, as it's the Patriarchy, so that's Christian Cage, Killswitch, aka Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne taking on the Bang Bang Gang. That's Austin and Colton Gunn, and Rock Hard Juice Robinson. And this match, oh boy, this match was a whole lot of fun. Lots of really controlled chaos. Especially when Killswitch got in. It looked like it was going to destroy fools. Eventually, Juice comes in. Starts running on Killswitch like a house of fire. Nick Wayne then doesn't tag in, but comes in. Tries for Wayne's World. Whiffs. And then you had Christian Cage on all sides, surrounded by the Bang Bang Gang. Juice goes for a suplex, that gets countered. Christian Cage fights back. Eventually, Juice gets the upper hand. The Guns clothesline Killswitch over the top rope. Cage goes for a low blow. That gets blocked by Juice's thighs, which was funny. Juice with a big old power bomb. That only gets a 2 count. He then gets Cage up top going for a superplex. Then Killswitch comes in. Big old choke slam from the middle rope. Then Christian Cage comes in with a frog splash, only gets a 2. Tries for a powerbomb, but gets backdropped. Juice with the right hand of God, but that only gets countered. Killswitch then takes a hit for Christian Cage. Then Mother Wayne gets up on the apron, sprays Juice in the face with hairspray. Cage hits the kill switch to pick up the win for his team, and they win the trios titles. And as they're celebrating, the lights flicker on and off. Oh, what could that mean? Could we see House of Black versus the Patriarchy? I guess we shall see sooner rather than later. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Not too long today. Back to regularly scheduled programming this week. We got Raw, we got Power, we got Dynamite. Next week is going to be a little bit interesting because I am going to be taking a little bit of a break. I will still watch and cover SummerSlam. I'll do my predictions next week. And, yeah, hopefully that will be a nice, fun time. Till that time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.